Yo, thanks for watching. So I know you probably seen the title Doomsday Clock Closest to Midnight. Most people don't even know what the Doomsday Clock is, but it's a symbolic clock that was put together by Oppenheimer, Einstein, and some other nuclear scientists after World War II, and to predict when the world would be in a nuclear holocaust, if you call it. But the title, Doomsday Clock, is closest to midnight. Midnight symbolizes when Armageddon. So it's enough for me. Check this out. All right, watch this.
Weeks later, the detonation of atomic bombs over Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan in 1945 killed between 110 and 210,000 people. In the aftermath of that destruction, Albert Einstein, J. Robert Oppenheimer, and Manhattan Project scientists and engineers created the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists, an organization meant to warn and educate the public about the potential harm of their creation. The public's imagination during the post-war period would be filled with visions of nuclear-powered transportation and endless supplies of energy.
A giant of limitless power at man's command.
But the inventors of the technology behind the atomic bomb were more concerned about the prospect of an arms race and worldwide nuclear war.
There is no denying that since that moment, the shadow of the atom bomb has been across all our lives.
Over its more than 75-year history, the Bulletin has monitored existential threats to humanity and communicated insights to the public through its magazine, its website, its events, and the Doomsday Clock, which visualizes humanity's metaphorical proximity to global catastrophe. Martil Langsdorff, an artist married to a Manhattan Project engineer, created the Doomsday Clock in 1947 as the first cover image for the Bulletin's magazine. It was initially set at 7 minutes to midnight. The clock first moved in 1949, when Bulletin editor Eugene Rabinowitch decided to move the minute hand forward to 3 minutes to midnight, in response to the Soviet Union testing its first nuclear weapon, years ahead of when many in the US government thought possible. In all, the clock has moved 25 times, first as dictated by Rabinowitch, and later as set by the Bulletin's Science and Security Board. The clock has moved closer and further away in response to a variety of technological and diplomatic events. At the end of the Cold War and the signing of the Nuclear START Treaty, the Doomsday Clock moved the furthest from midnight it's ever been, 17 minutes to midnight, highlighting humanity's potential to prioritize peace and move back the clock. Today, the Doomsday Clock represents the judgment of leading science and security experts about the threat to human existence with a focus on man-made threats, nuclear risk, climate change, and new disruptive technologies like artificial intelligence and new biotechnology. The clock is watched closely by scientists and policymakers, but it has also been a prominent feature in pop culture since its emergence. It has been a thematic device in feature films like Doctor Strangelove, the Jurassic World series, and Justice League. It's been described in popular songs by artists like The Who, Smashing Pumpkins, and Bright Eyes. It's been a motif of video games like Rise of Nations, books like The Imposter, the fantasy novel Wielding a Red Sword, and comic books like Watchmen. Throughout its history, the Doomsday Clock has helped focus global attention on the gravest threats to the planet. More than 75 years since it was first introduced, the clock remains an enduring symbol of the promise and peril of humanity's technological prowess. Powers
The Doomsday Clock. Back after the Cold War, it was set 17 minutes to midnight. Symbolic symbolism, of course. But today, as of January 2025, my man been in office, the Doomsday Clock is set at 89 seconds to midnight. Gone.